and say, what's
Hello,
up,
Justin.
everyone? So, well, this is Alphabeta Gold, and we have breaking news that we're not going to talk about until next week, so you guys can all fucking sit back and relax and wait on that.
You have some breaking news.
We're not allowed to talk about it.
Mm-mm.
Your breaking news. You personally.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah.
Bro, your microphone's going all over the place.
Yeah, we can't. Your audio is
You're
very
fading in and out.
We can't hear you. No.
You're gone.
No.
You're gone.
Good?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do this for now.
Okay. All right. Let me try this for like the third time. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Alphabeta Gold. I'm Cameron James, and joining me, as always, is Jason Porter, Microsoft's finest, Justin Vitale, and none other than Just Matt. Now we got delays. Now Matt's frozen. Now Matt's not frozen.
What is going on?
I don't know what's fucking happening. Whatever.
Oh, boy.
It's the holiday season, and we have some technical issues with that. I guess that's what fucking happens when you do things on Zoom.
2020.
We can hear you now, Matt. So that's
Oh, well, that's good. Let's just keep it this way then.
that is a good thing. Yes. So as we were saying prior that we can't actually talk about, but we can kind of talk about one breaking news. GameStop somehow released a random drop of holiday bundles that I was able to receive one for PlayStation, which I actually had it in my cart, and I was like, is this for real? Like, I was like, no. And I clicked checkout, and it was like, continue checkout. I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, submit, and it was like, out of stock. I was like, ugh. I was like, I guess that was real. And then like I was like fishing around for stuff for Steph for like a Wii game, and I was like, let me check that again, because that was kind of weird. And like popped back up, and I was like, add to cart, and it did it again. I was like, check out, and it was like, verify your email, and I was like, verified, and it was like, congratulations. I was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't even want that bundle. I just like, it was in my cart though, so I was like, fuck it, I'll take it. So that was that's yeah. So I mean, I won't get it until January. I really don't care, because it actually I have a topic or something I want to say about that. Not getting, but Matt, looks like you're going to say something.
I was going to say, you might get it before January,
Probably
because my cousin lucked out the other day too. My cousin, his fiance, and me. We were all on our various computers in our workspaces, and we're like, we got to fucking try to get him one when they do this drop on, I think it was Walmart earlier this week. And they were like, oh, we're going to do it at 9 a.m. And, you know, Christina and I couldn't fucking get it. We're like, fuck, God damn it. This is so bad. We're really hoping we could get him one. And then randomly at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he just sends me a picture of the completed order. And he was like, I thought they were supposed to do it at 9. I guess they did it at 1 o'clock, and he somehow fucking got it. And then he sent a picture last night that it says it's going to deliver by the 23rd. So,
well, mine was a pre-order.
They might just call it a pre-order, but realistically speaking, it's not like there's anything special about that bundle. The 2 games that were coming with it are already out, so they just need the shit, and then once they have the shit, they can ship it. So my guess is you'll probably get it before January. But even if you got to wait a little bit, whatever, fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I know, like, I texted my buddy, Rich, who got one too, and Rich paid I think $800. He got it from like one of those scalping websites, and he got 2 controllers. He got the digital edition, and he got like the free PlayStation Plus membership and all that shit. So it was, I was like, man, you should have just waited. And then I know I sent you guys the link, and I know Jason was like, it's gone already. Like, that was like within fucking seconds. So I don't know if Jason's frozen right now.
No, I can see you guys. Can you hear me?
Okay. We can hear you. You just look like what Cyberpunk looks like running on.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're coming to us live from Europa.
Let me hardwire here. I'll be right.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. We'll continue. But yeah, so like that was kind of surprising. And I went to Rich's yesterday because he was like, "Come look at it." I was like, "All right, sure."
Come look at my PlayStation.
So I come there, and I gotta say, I mean, he has like a 96-inch fucking TV, and it's like massive. And he was playing Call of Duty on it. Yeah. And I wasn't that impressed by the way Call of Duty looked on it. I was just like, this just looks like Call of Duty in really big TV.
I'm going to put a pin in that real quick. He should check to make sure that he's playing the PlayStation 5 version of Call of Duty, because he may have just downloaded the PS4 version.
He downloaded both of them. He's like, I don't have anything on my hard drive. I'm like, he's like, I can't put anything else. I already have too much. I was like, how? I looked at it. And it was like PS4 Call of Duty, PS5 Call of Duty. I was like,
delete one of those fuckers and play. Well, also too, Call of Duty is still getting patched out. That game is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I've seen some gameplay of it. It's definitely good looking, but it's not like revolutionary on this console by any stretch.
I will give credit where credit is due, though. The Astrobot game blew my mind when he was playing it. I was like, just turn this on. I was like, I just want to see what it looks like. Dude, they made the game, and maybe it's just because how big his fucking TV is, but there was times where I was like, is this game gonna like be in 3D? Like the way that they did it, like it felt like I was in the VR a little bit on the game. Like some of the angles that they use and just like the way it looked just like Astrobot from the VR game.
Yeah, Astro is really one of the most, like, they just need to keep making games like that, because I think just people love it. It's just a fun game to play. It really shows off the controller too, like the DualSense features. It's really sweet.
Yeah, well, he's like, he's like, here, take the controller. You want to play? I'm like, look, I want it to be like playing someone else's system is like taking a shit in their master bathroom. You don't do it.
Don't do that. No. You should experience you should experience the DualSense in your own setup when you're trying, like when you're there and you sit down in your throne and you're playing your game. Like that's when you should experience like what this controller does, for sure.
Yeah.
I second that motion.
So, but Jason, you're still searching around, I guess.
No, he's good.
No,
I meant like,
I'm just sitting really still.
No, I meant searching for the console.
Oh, yes. Which it's not even a big deal for me. Really until, and the only reason I looked when you sent me that link was like, okay, let me just get it.
Get a chance.
Yeah. But, and I did the whole reload of like, I don't know, I spent like 30 seconds with it before I realized like, why am I wasting 30 seconds? There's nothing out that I want to play right now.
That's my thing.
And I think I said it before, once either Forbidden West, Ratchet and Clank, or Gran Turismo has an actual release date, that's when I'm really going to look into getting one of these.
I was going to say, I did see there's a rumor going around. They were thinking about, I heard it was going to maybe be announced at the Game Awards, but it obviously didn't end up happening. There's a lot of whispers indicating that Ratchet and Clank might come out in February, which would be fucking fantastic. I would love that. But I mean, even if you don't have things you want to play on the PS5, if you can get your hands on one, get it, because then you can still be playing all the shit that you've got in your backlog. You're just ready to jump into new things when you want to play them. I've seen some videos recently for Gran Turismo, and it's just stupid good looking. Yeah. I mean, it's always very technically impressive. Like they're always some of the nicest looking games out there visually, but it looks really fucking cool. So I can understand wanting to wait for that.
That's like Flight Simulator. That game is like
that game's fucking cool looking too. Yeah, it's weird. Like I didn't think you could make a game look that good when it's like, because when you're flying, like you're connected to like Google Maps, so it's like generating like world in real time, which is very impressive in itself. Yeah, that's crazy shit.
You imagine if they made an open world game that way, like using Google Maps, and you literally, it was like, I don't know if that's even legal.
That would be fucking awesome.
You imagine how it'd be like, hey, like it's an open world game, like, and the missions, obviously the missions, you have to figure out how to do that. But like you could go to like Japan, it's like actually like what's going on like at that moment, where like the game would actually change scenery. So if something happened, I don't know how it would work, but like if something happened in Japan, let's say like a building's like redone, it's like a new building. I
don't know. I mean, I could see a lot of people doing some fucked up shit in a game like that.
Well, if you want real time though, just remember real time is a double-edged sword, because you can scream down country roads and whatever. Then you can also get stuck in Garden State Parkway southbound traffic at 5 o'clock on August. So
I just don't know. Does Flight Simulator using the Google Map, does it actually change the world as you like based on seasons too, or is it just like static? Like this is what it is. Justin would probably know more than anybody.
I'm not sure about that. Actually, that's a good question. I mean, I know
You tried to
there's-
play it, right?
Yeah, it melted my. It was like fucking 8 frames a second, dude. It was. It was on free on Games Pass. I was like, all right, let's check it out. Nope, wasn't a good idea.
Not yet. Not when you not soon.
No,
Soon.
on PC. I have Game Pass Ultimate, right? So yeah, so I put it on this old ass laptop that has a 960, 970 graphics. It was terrible. But yeah, I don't know. There was I know there's weather in it, and I know there's day-night cycles, but I don't know about seasons and things like that. I mean, it would make sense if you go to the southern hemisphere to like Antarctica or something like that it's ice, but like I don't know for sure.
Yeah, like dynamic weather and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And actually then they'd have to sync up to like fucking what is weather.com's that Watson. They'd have to like link it up with Watson so you have real-time weather. I mean, it's a lot of moving parts for one game.
Yeah, I know that I think it's supposed to come to Series X, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It was already announced. Yeah.
I was gonna say I thought it was already on it, or maybe
I don't know. Nobody has a Series X yet here. We're all still trying to get one, so
Yeah, exactly. No one has a Series X yet.
I mean, but I'm surprised Microsoft didn't give us one because they
For real, right?
they fucking hate us anyway.
We hired Justin, so what the fuck? I mean, we want to talk about your shit, so let's get going, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're only a couple thousand followers away from like being able to be considered legit. I mean, I get it. Like once we get 40,000 followers on Instagram, then we're gonna be getting fucking PS7s for free in like 20 years. God damn. But anyway, once again, this is Why Am I Nerd since Alpha Beta Gold, where you can follow us on Instagram, Why Am I Nerd Official, Facebook.com/Why Am I Nerd, and listen to new episodes every Monday on YouTube and your favorite podcast service. So last week we actually left off on a topic, and it was pretty much end games and video games. I think we talked about we were talking about something, and I remember saying like, hey, we could talk about this next week, which is like game endings that actually were impactful too, because I know one of the big things for me was everyone. Now, I've said it before, like The Last of Us Part 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. But the ending of that game didn't resonate with me as much as it did with other people. And I think it's literally just because my IQ didn't understand why it was so impactful. I was like, all right, he lied. Cool. Like, what? Like, I didn't, again, the game, I understand, but like, what is it about that game? I guess, Justin, you really couldn't mention much. I mean, Jason and Matt obviously can, but like, what was it about that ending that made it so like, God damn, that was fucking dope? Because I don't get it.
You want to start, Matt? Or?
No, go ahead.
All right. So it was very humanizing for that game. Joel had lost his daughter, Ellie. All throughout the game, you're like, okay, Ellie is now like his second daughter. And it just shows that the lengths that Joel would go and be ready to sacrifice everything to keep her safe. And at the end, he had a decision to make. Ellie was unconscious. She was on the table. And there are spoilers here. If you haven't played The Last of Us Part 1 yet, I don't know what you're doing. So after he rescues Ellie, and in the second game, and there were parts of that first game, there are parts of the first game where it was like Ellie would have sacrificed herself for the greater good. Joel did not want to have her make that sacrifice. So when he rescued her, he basically like,
y'all are talking shit. Fuck you guys.
when he rescued her, he basically like, doomed humanity, I guess, to like not get the cure or anything. At the end, and so when they're driving away, he's telling her there are dozens like her, and he's just like straight face lying to her. And the very end, it's like the two of them are walking through the woods, and they're looking down at the camp where like Joel, or I guess it's not camp, it's like that village Jackson. His brother lived in, and where the second part, where the second game opened up in. And he's just like reassuring himself by lying to her. And the last line of dialogue in that game was like, up until then, it had been real for Joel. And then the last line of dialogue in the game was from Ellie. And then that kind of made you see, by like, look at the game from a different perspective. I think the line was, her name was Riley and she was the first to die. And like, okay, you knew a little bit about Riley before then, but it wasn't until the remastered version came out where you got the DLC where you played as Ellie and Riley. The ending of the game was great. After you play that DLC, it kind of puts that ending in a whole new perspective because now you know who Riley is and you know the exact events leading up to the first game.
Well, that was a great way to put that in Spark Notes. That made a hell of a lot more sense.
Wasn't their whole relationship in that? I've never played it. I've only read it, but wasn't their whole like relationship in that game built upon trusting one another? And then at the very end,
yes,
fucking lies to her, which is kind of like holy shit. So like, yeah.
But she apparently knew that he was lying.
Well, I mean, if you're honest,
she eventually finds out that he was lying. She didn't know right away, but then it also it also weighs even heavier because when he lied to her, he basically said, "There's absolutely nothing remarkable about you. You're just a normal, everyday, average human being." But lying to her that she had the power to potentially save the world. She could have cured this. She could have fixed everything, and he made that choice to say, I need you more in my life than you need to be, killed to fix everybody else. Fuck everybody else. I need you more, which has a lot of obvious impacts too.
Because I was listening to when I was listening to a podcast today, they were talking about obviously The Last of Us 2 and how like because it's won so many obviously Game of the Year and all this bullshit, but they were saying just how the storyline of that game is actually really kind of stupid. Because you don't end up liking either character. Like, you just kind of... I mean, they try to make you like Abby, but you don't. And then Ellie comes across as, like, just a moron who, like, won't let it go. And they were saying, like, literally the story is... Ellie goes to look for Abby, can't find her. Goes home. Abby goes to look for Ellie, finds her, decides not to kill her. Ellie goes to find Abby again, finds her, decides not to kill her. And there's like, whatever, fuck.
No. Decides not to kill her, decides to kill her, decides not to kill her. They both walk away. Like, I hated what they did to Ellie in that game. Hated it.
Yeah, I don't think they'll make a third one, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they fucking did because, the way the story ends is just really kind of anticlimactic. And I'm just going to
say right now, if they do make a third and it's going to be anything even remotely close to the second one, please don't bother.
Yeah, I probably
just don't.
Yeah, I'd probably be out on that one too, especially because the second one wasn't really necessary.
Give me an Uncharted Lost Legacy. Give me other characters in this universe in a different fucking part of the world. Tell me something new.
Yeah,
you can make just as equally as an interesting game in a different part of the world, different fucking characters. That's fine.
Yeah, like if you want to have like Ellie show up randomly as like a quick cameo, like cool, but get her out. Like don't make it a prominent thing. I think that's the only way to do it.
Make it during the years, like make it sometime during the fucking 20 years before the events of the first one. I mean, lots of shit would have happened during that time too. That would have been really fucking interesting. So just do something then. I mean, I'm just throwing shit out there, but no. After the outbreak hit, like at the beginning of The Last of Us 1, where Joel's daughter dies, but then there's like she dies. And then it's like him waking up in his bed and it says 20 years later. Like, that's
so sometimes after
span.
Sarah's killed versus Joel meets Ellie.
Plenty of shit. You should make a game about that. Make when Joel was a smuggler. Like, give me a game about Joel when he was younger and he was smuggling. He was a piece of shit. Give me
even
that.
How he met Tess or something.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. There you go. Last of Us 3.
Yeah, we wrote it.
Last of Us 0.5.
But you heard it here first.
Yeah.
But
put a pin in that.
But anyway, Justin, I guess since you can, kind of chime in now on another, like, what game ending related like stands out to you?
Oh God,
it can go back. I mean, and don't say fucking Chrono Cross or Trigger.
No, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna be a dead fucking horse. I guess I'm gonna go way back. Nice Yellow Republic was definitely something that you fucking find out at the end of that fucking game. Turns out you're the fucking Sith Lord you're looking for the whole time. It's like, surprise. So that was kind of something that I think shook a lot of us to our fucking core. That you've really invested in this, and then all of a sudden, this big twist happens at the end of the fucking game, and it's such a big revelation, and I think something that a lot of gamers we hadn't experienced up until that point in time. Those twists like that. BioShock, well, not two, but Infinite in the first one, they definitely delivered a good experience where you are kind of slapped in the face. I think the first one, would you kindly, that revelation,
that was brilliant.
That is masterful.
That was
really,
probably
oh my
one
God.
of the biggest jaw-dropping, amazing moments. Well, not necessarily an ending, but that was definitely towards the later section of the game, and you're just like, it made you question everything you were doing up to that point. Like, was everything you were doing something you were doing in the game, or were you actually, being manipulated to do those things?
So. Yeah, like I didn't finish BioShock. I actually didn't like the first game. But I was like, I think I was talking to Matt about it at Mom. So I was like, just tell me what happened. When you explained it to me, I was like, no fucking way. And I went and looked at this whole video and the sequence, and I was like, God damn, that's fucking really well done.
I don't think I had experienced something so mind fucky at that point in my life in a game. I had experienced, plenty of twists and turns and things in games, but that literally, I was like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. What? I was completely taken aback by that. That's why I love the BioShock games, because there's just such good writing in them, and that was holy crap.
Always find a way to get a twist in there.
Yeah,
they tried to do it with Infinite, I felt, but I felt like that one kind of missed the mark because it was almost too sophisticated. Again, going back to my IQ, it was just over my head, like most things are.
BioShock Infinite, it's one of those games that in order to fully appreciate it, you really have to play through it at least twice, because after you play through it the first time and the whole premise, the ending, and the whole quantum universes and everything, or quantum theories and infinite universes, as you're playing through again, you actually kind of pick up on other things. Like, you don't realize how many times the Lutece twins
they're everywhere,
are in that game. They are literally everywhere.
Who are they?
So
I don't remember them.
Lutece.
When you start the game and you're on the boat, they are literally talking to you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. And they aren't actually twins. They are actually the same person from different timelines. And yeah, that's what.
Yeah, when you come out of in the end of the Infinite, when you're come out, I guess you come out of a lighthouse, and there's a million lighthouses. I was like, what is going on?
A million lighthouses.
There's always a lighthouse. There's always a lighthouse.
I don't get it.
That's
okay. It's okay, Campbell.
The lighthouse was the constant in the multiverse. So whatever happens, there was whatever progression happened, there was the lighthouse was the anchor that just kept everything tied together.
I'm interested to see where they go with that series next.
I don't know.
They're working on 4.
Are they?
They are. This is probably a couple weeks ago now that their Take-Two said that they're working on something, and I really hope they don't fucking talk more about it until they really have something worth talking about. Don't fucking say anything. Loose lips sink ships. I mean, just shut up. Don't fucking talk about it. But yes, they're making another one. Will it be as good? Who the fuck knows? It's probably going to be loaded with microtransactions and we'll hate it. But I hope they can make a
Were
good
they
one.
though? They weren't though. The BioShock games didn't have microtransactions in it.
No, I'm just saying now with how things have progressed since Infinite came out, there's probably going to be fucking microtransactions and skins and unnecessary shit in it because it's Take-Two. But I hope not. I hope it ends up being good because I'm going to play it anyways.
Can you believe Infinite came out 7 years ago?
Yeah. It's been a many moons.
Skyrim's 9 years old too. Jesus.
Sorry. Wow. Holy fuck.
Well, Oblivion is still superior to Skyrim, in my opinion.
I was gonna say, actually, now that I'm just because you said that, I only saw like part of the trailer for it, but I guess there's another expansion coming out for ESO, and they're going back to Oblivion. So that looked pretty fucking cool. I'm gonna be straight up honest; it looked really appealing.
I thought they announced it like a while ago.
Maybe
no, they had a Skyrim. The last one I think was a Skyrim expansion. I've tried to get in that game several times, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Oh, I can't go back to it. That's not happening. I'm just saying. I like Cameron and I talk about it all the time. I liked Oblivion more than I liked Skyrim, so that was really cool to see like Oblivion and like modern-ish graphics.
I didn't actually play Oblivion until like a month and a half before Skyrim came out. I was like, all right, let's see what this is all about. And then I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
I remember I played the first one was Morrowind, right?
That's the third one, actually. Well, yeah, that will.
Well, the first big one.
Yeah,
that was because that was for Xbox,
right?
And I remember playing that. I went to the store, and the guy's like, "Yo, you should try this game." I was like, however old I was, fucking 12, and I was like, "All right." I remember playing it, and I was just like, "Yeah, no, what the fuck?"
He just looked at you and said, "Hey, kid, do you want some skooma?" And
you were like,
"Yeah, I don't know what that is."
And I remember when Oblivion came out, I was like, I don't know. I remember trying to fuck the first one. I was terrible at it. And I remember just getting into Oblivion. I put hours and hours and hours into that game. And then I don't remember if it was Oblivion or Skyrim, but one of the games I had put literally like 120 hours in. And one of the main missions had a glitch and I didn't have enough save. Like my last save prior, that was like 10 hours prior. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing it. Like a knife had to be like on like I'll never forget. There was supposed to be a knife or a sword on a tree stump and it wasn't there. It was like, pick up the thing. I was like, it's not fucking here. And like, I looked and it was like some sort of weird glitch. And I was like, I'm out after all that 120 hours of bullshit. But,
that sucks.
Well, it's no different than my Dragon Age experience because I'm really good at fucking bailing on games at the end of it.
every time I think about that, and that memory lives fucking in my head, and anytime it just creeps up into the forefront of my mind, it makes me very angry.
I might play that game again down the road. I mean, I don't know. Right now, obviously, Bioware is a little bit of a shaky topic, especially with what's it called coming out. The next Mass Effect.
But that doesn't change the fact that Inquisition was good.
I love that game.
Still was fucking awesome.
But I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm gonna just go ahead and get it out of the way because I know we don't want to talk about it too much, but because BioWare is a little bit moving downhill. Do you think CD Projekt Red is next?
I'm just gonna say I'm not commenting on this because the whole Cyberpunk CD Projekt Red thing is a fucking war zone, and I don't want to comment on it right now. It's literally everywhere, and I'm trying to not pay attention to it right now, so I don't want to comment.
Jason,
no comment.
No comment.
You heard it. No, nobody wants to say anything about it.
It's not even saying saying, oh, it's a dumpster fire. It's literally the internet is a fucking war zone right now over the concept of Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red. I cannot escape anything related to it. It's the only thing I see in the news, and it's bugging me. So that's why I just.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like it's died. I kind of feel like it's died down. I think after PlayStation.
You're not on Reddit as often as any.
Oh no,
probably any one of us is. So yeah, you don't. That's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm curious to know if Sony ended up losing money on that with all the returns that they had to do. And
between all the refunds, short term, yes. Medium to long term, once they fix all the glitches, no.
That's assuming people are going to go back to it.
Look, No Man's Sky, they're going to go back to it.
Yeah.
So I on my Discord we talked about this briefly, and No Man's Sky is a very unique game in a sense that it's more or less infinite. Like there are still a finite number of, I guess, planets that you can experience.
18 quintillion.
Yeah, but like they all like I've been to like 600 planets now, and I've started to see some trends in the ways. Yeah, you start to see some trends develop over time, and you visit enough. All the the creatures, have a much bigger variety than it did, but essentially, with the amount of variety that game delivers, you'll never have the same experience twice ever, like even or to somebody else, like you just won't. But the scope of that game is like far beyond anything we can even comprehend. And the other game that we're still talking about, unfortunately, it's more or less finite. Like the world is only so large. There's only so many encounters you can have. There's only so many missions. I'm sure there's side quests that are repeatable, and there's other things to do. But like, I mean, when it comes down to it, we're all going to have a very similar experience with that game. And then, we find out that I'm not going to, that's all I'm going to say on it. Never mind. I'm not going to, I don't want to continue on that.
Yeah, no, my thing was more of not about, it wasn't so much about the game. It was about, are they kind of in a bad place? Because, you also read that, it also kind of fucked Sony and Xbox or Microsoft a little bit, I'll say, is because they apparently, I didn't know this, apparently games have to go through some sort of like certification process. Yep. And this game didn't. They were just like, cool, you made it. We trust you. You're good to go. So it never actually got the certification process for Microsoft or Sony. They just put it out. And now
that's their own fucking fault.
Yeah, but is it Sony and Microsoft's fault for trusting in it?
Yes.
Yes, it is. That is their own fucking fault.
That's bad business etiquette. Shame on them.
Yeah. So
just verify.
This game cost $380 million. If you would think that if I was the final decision maker at Sony and someone said, do you think we can just skip the certification process for this at $380 million in terms of cost and what it could, any problems and everything, even not knowing what's happened, I would say, fuck no. Everything has to go through a certification process. That should be the one rule that is unbreakable. Everything needs to be certified. I mean, there have been other games in the past by smaller developers that don't get the thumbs up. And then the developers got to go back to the drawing board. They've got to fix all the things, and then they have to post it up again before they can do it. It's like, I don't know, it's like getting your fucking car when you go to take it for an inspection. If it's too many emissions are too high, you have to go get the thing fixed or fucking whatever, or you have a headlight out, you have to go get it fixed, and then you have to come back. There's $380 fucking million. Are you kidding me? If like Rockstar had done something like this, it would have been crazy. Like, don't just assume because it's a good developer, they don't have to pass certification. Fuck that. They should have done it, and that's their own goddamn fault.
Yeah, I mean, even my thing too, though, is like with the certification thing. Obviously it has to be certified. And I think the certification just says like the game's done. It's completed. It's playable. You can do it. But think of all the games that pass that, like get that certification that fucking suck. Like who's certifying these things and what is the actual scale based on? Because I've said it before. I was super excited for Alpha Protocol. I say this all the time. It's one of the games I really wish was good, and it was terrible. Like it did not work. And if that went through a process of certification, how did it pass it?
Well, I think when it comes to certification, we need to figure out like exactly how that works. We have day one patches for some games where it's common now that you might buy a game, put it in your console 45 minutes later, and then download a 10 or 15 gigabyte day one patch. So is the certification process okay? We can do it here. We've seen this. We've seen the patch. Obviously, the discs are made already. The certification process is tied to the patch, or is it just the game as is? I get the patches have like other features and stuff because the developers wanted to get it, out into the hands of the gamers. But I think that kind of begs the question as well.
Yeah.
What is this certification contingent on?
Well, that's why, I don't think it necessarily just means like, oh, it has to be a good game, because good is subjective. Some people, you thought Alpha Protocol was shit. There are people out there that think Alpha Protocol was good. But I think with a certification process, it's mechanically, it has to be good. So the fact that mechanically this game would not, in truth, I don't think this game would have passed certification from a mechanical standpoint with all the crashes, the technical glitches, everything. There's got to be a certain degree of issues that can be happening with the game that will still pass certification. But this is like next level shit. The fact that somebody, and I don't know. Did this actually go through a certification? And that's just a misconception that it didn't. but then it falls on who the fuck said this was okay then, so it's bad it's bad both ways,
And
it didn't.
And if every single game gets certified, how the fuck does Bethesda keep on putting games out to market with all of the glitches?
Saying, fucking Fallout 76, dude. How the fuck did that have some kind of like, somebody play that and went, dude, this is great. It's fucking fantastic. Let's put this out to market. Like, who the fuck said that was okay? And I understand.
Jason, how many hours of Skyrim do you have? Okay, that says it all. I'm done. That you don't even need to answer.
Let's say 1,000. Probably over 1,000 hours.
Many hundreds.
And in your many of hundreds of hours of gameplay, how many actually game breaking or incredibly like just bugs or glitches that you came across?
Game breaking or total?
Yeah. Just like, how often do you think it would happen? Was it something that was frequent, or was it infrequent and it was some things that would just happen?
On PS3, quite a few. On the PS4 version, not more. They were still there, but they were.
Yeah.
I only ever on the original release of Skyrim was it 360? Is it that old? Yeah.
It must have been because it came out for the PS3.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So I had a game breaking bug that locked me out of the Civil War quest line. I could not insert one of those dragon claws into that fucking door. It just wasn't going in the door. I was like, all right, fine. And then I went to go do one of the last quest lines for the College of Winterhold. And I couldn't fucking do that because I couldn't charge the what's his name soul in one of the friggin' urns in one of the Dwemer dungeons, and so that was two for me in a span of 2 hours. And then I shelved the game and I didn't pick it up again until that special edition came out. And the first two things I did in that were complete the quest lines that I couldn't fucking do just to have that done, and then I never touched the fucking game again.
I mean, people also have really short memories too. It would seem with CD Projekt Red, as good as you look at it now and you say how good The Witcher is. When The Witcher 3 came out, it was in bad shape. There were a lot of glitches. Everybody fucking roach standing on the fucking roof of a house. There's a fucking horse on the roof of a fucking house. That right now. It's like people have very short memories and forget that when that game came out, it was a buggy mess. But of course, it improved over time. But I'll just say this too, as much as I didn't want to comment on it. I have requested a refund for the digital edition from Sony. I went to the thing. You have to actually sign in with your email. Like you have to sign into your PSN account to verify your purchase. I haven't heard anything back about it yet. It's still sitting on my dashboard. But I think for the time being, it is nothing personal, but I do not want this game sitting on my dashboard if it is not something I can comfortably play. It's not like I'm sitting here going, shit, I need this $65 so bad. I need it for something else. It's just when everything is fixed, I will come back. But I'm not, I guess if I have the opportunity, I will take my money back. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. And, I want this all to work out for CD Projekt Red, but right now, we're everything's on fucking fire right now.
Yeah, what blows my mind too is that like Bioware didn't get this reaction when Andromeda came out. Everyone's like, game sucks. The animation.
I got a refund for Andromeda.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
I didn't know that.
I didn't get an emotional refund on that game, but
but like I feel like why are they getting dumped on when they said Bioware didn't? Bioware's kind of like the game's bad. Bioware sucks now. They came up with Anthem. Oh, they're terrible. Hold on, Justin, just before I'm going to go to you first. Like, what is it that Bioware's doing so poorly with that people are harping over them than CD Projekt Red? Go ahead.
I think the issue wasn't bugs in Andromeda. I didn't play it. Matt played it, so I'm going to kind of leverage on him a little bit. I think it was the quality of the game wasn't there. The facial expressions, the character models, they were all very poor in comparison to what we were expecting from the next Mass Effect game. Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Well, not 1. That fucking stupid Mako. Fucking fuck that thing. But 2 and 3. 2 and 3 were, they were flawless in a sense of gameplay, and like there were like very little issues I ever encountered that I was like, why is this glitch like? I mean, there were like nothing even comes to mind. The ending of Mass Effect 3 could be left, up to more desirable things. But I think with Andromeda, it just wasn't the quality of work that we were expecting from the next Mass Effect game.
Matt, you want to?
Yeah, no, he's 100% right. I don't remember there being a lot of glitches, or anything game breaking, anything like that. I mean, the mechanics needed a little bit of work, and they updated that. Like the fighting wasn't bad in any way; it just wasn't memorable. But the quality of just the acting and the story, it was just really subpar. Like they really set a bar with that universe where you're like epic proportions, in terms of a story, and this was just very. It's like you can make, it's all the previous games were really nice charcuterie boards, and this was like a fucking Lunchable. It was really not. It was really not good. It was
Lunchable.
It was a fucking Lunchable that I got at fucking 7-Eleven. It was really not good. Yeah, technically though, yeah, from like a mechanic standpoint, it was okay, I guess. But it just everything else was really poorly done, and I think that's what pissed people off because they hyped the shit out of that game. And the story and everything didn't deliver. And I guess it's kind of similarly happening now with Cyberpunk. That game was overhyped, hyped. And, everybody says, oh, it's been in development for 8 years. It's not in development for 8 years. It was announced 8 years ago, and it was a big proof of concept. And they didn't really start developing it until like 6 months after The Witcher 3 came out, which was in 2016. So this really hasn't been in development for that long. But still, it was really hyped. That's what the problem is. Too much hype.
I read something on Reddit about this, about when the game was actually announced and, pre-production and all this stuff. And then I kind of, spoke to, I got two people in my Discord. One works for 343 and another works at Ubisoft. Mm-hmm. And they basically confirmed with what I was reading that, the game, it goes into pre-production, storyboarding, character design, all of that stuff. And there's concept art and all that stuff is drafted up. But actual development where you're actually making a fucking game with computers, that happened about 3 years ago. Like it wasn't something that's been actually developed where they're working in computers, building the game up from the ground up, like all the storyboarding was done and all that stuff. So like, yeah. So it wasn't in like actual game development that long. Like they probably spent more time developing everything that was going to go into the game before they actually started making the game.
Yeah, like a good example of that is just because it's so recent, so to speak, is Final Fantasy 16. People you're always speculating, hey, there's a new Final Fantasy game probably coming out in the works, and then back in September they announce it. There's a trailer, there's a literal trailer there. And then shortly after that, they said, yeah, we are past the, early stages of production. They said they have the skeleton has been built. So at that point that they showed that trailer, it was already further along in development than Cyberpunk was when they dropped that trailer 8 years ago. So like this is already well into production. And that's a good thing. Whereas with Cyberpunk, it was like, here's this cool trailer with this woman getting like assaulted by cops, and she's got a giant fucking knife that comes out and stabs and bullets and shit. It was cool, but that was all they had. They had that and some stuff on paper, but they didn't actually have anything in a computer until like the first fucking DLC for The Witcher came out. Like that's when they were starting to like actually get down in the computer and start building models and stuff.
It would have been very interesting to see that game out in April.
I think in April. Oh God, no! I think that would have been. Oh God, just thinking about it, that would be fucking terrible.
I mean, I think if anything, I think it's a really big lesson for just the video game industry as a whole. Of like, you got to go through the certification thing. And I did hear on the podcast that I was listening to, I don't remember which one it was that had mentioned it. Was that other games have. They've done this with other developers where it's like a developer they just trust, and they're just like, all right, you're good. Like, sure, put it out. And then it's like, whoops, like my bad. So, I mean, that would be like if the health inspector came into, me moms, which is like, hey, you guys are always really good. Here's your certificate, peace out. It's like, all right, like I get it. Thanks. But like, you probably should,
do your fucking job, please.
Or God forbid, like a building inspector walks into a house and he's like, yeah, the house looks great. And like, it's missing an entire fucking beam across the first floor and the house just falls down. It's like, so the process needs to be, maintained, and that's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, but another, moving on so we can get away from the cyberpunk talk. Obviously, we didn't really want to talk
the talk that we never wanted to get into,
and we just had it for 15 minutes. Justin brought to attention today too is like boss fights in video games, and how they've kind of evolved over the past not couple years, but over the years, obviously from Sega and Nintendo and Super NES to like now. And I kind of feel like boss fights now compared to then suck.
Dark Souls is looking at you right now, Cameron.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're talking mad shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Neo 2 probably is too, but I beat that game, so fuck you. Jason, looked like you were about to say something.
I think it depends on the style of game. So like when you have a boss fight in a video game like Tomb Raider, like the end you're going against.
The end of Tomb Raider 1 is so stupid. It is
no. Any Tomb Raider like that one, or the Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and any of the 3 newer ones. The boss fights there, it's pretty much okay. You have to hit them a couple times, or you have to knock this thing off so you can get a clear shot and then take them out, or you have to do a couple precision shots on a helicopter, whatever it is. Last night, I actually just recently picked up Final Fantasy 13 again. I'm going to get the platinum on that because for whatever reason, the original Final Fantasy 13, I never did. There are 2 super bosses. I finished the game ages ago, like 2011, 2010, whenever the hell it came out. There's 2 super bosses, a Longui and a Versitina. I can't even freaking pronounce it. Those are fucking boss battles.
Yeah.
Those are 15 million plus HP. And you're just you're getting them down to 50%. You have a strategy to like, yeah, we're good. Oh my God, my entire party just got fucking wiped. So I think a lot of it depends on the genre. So if you have a Tomb Raider style thing versus a Japanese RPG style, it's just completely different style of boss fights. Have they gotten trickier over the years in the Final Fantasy series? Yes. But also Square Enix does this thing where the main bosses in the game aren't part of the storyline. They're side quest bosses.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean,
I think there's a.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
No, I understand. I know, Justin, I'm gonna go to you next. Is that you do still have games like Demon Souls or Sekiro, or however I actually say it. Sekiro, or even Cuphead. But anyone ever play the end boss of Evil Within 1? You know what I'm talking about. That end boss in that game was crap, and the end boss of fucking even the new Resident Evil game, the Resident Evil 7. Yeah, the ending is the most recent one. The ending of that was stupid too. It was like, what is this? You can't. I guess my thing is it's sometimes it feels like a cop out. Okay, we have to put a boss here. Here's a boss. Example 2, Last of Us Part 2. That stupid boss fight in the basement when you have to get the freaking thing. This is so unnecessary, and it just doesn't feel like the level. I guess what the word is, the quality, the level of detail in boss fights is as good as it used to be, unless you're a game that designates yourself around that, like Neo, like Sekiro, or Cuphead. Justin?
I was gonna say, so looking back, in the NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Master System era, there was platforming, side-scrolling, top-down, isometric gameplays, and a lot of that was very reminiscent of what we're just talking about with Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Cuphead and things that they don't fucking hold your hand when you play and it gave you such a sense of accomplishment. Now I feel like a lot of boss fights are thrown in for plot points and story beats and things like that, where they're trying to tell a story as a narrative, or the game is trying to tell a story as a narrative, and this encounter is just there to serve that purpose. But then going back to I'm going to say Cuphead again, because that game is just centered around wanting to rip your face off, and I know Matt attempted it, I know I attempted it, and that game is just not I enjoy jumping and shooting a lot. That's all I want to do.
Jump and shoot, man.
Jump and shoot, man. That's
Jump
all I want
and
to do.
shoot, man.
Riding on cars, right? So like, that's all I want to do is just jump and shoot. But that game didn't do it for me. You know, I'm a big Mega Man fan. I have beaten them all except for the Zero series. I haven't even played them. I do have the collection. I just haven't gotten around to playing them yet. But those games for me, you know, when you beat a boss and you clear the level, it's like, yes, I fucking did it. Which, you know, another game that I'm going to throw in is, you know, Super Meat Boy has some of the best game design, level design I've ever fucking played. And their bosses are just kind of not in the same. I'd rather play the stages over and over again than try for the bosses. But I think now, present day, we're seeing more bosses as plot points and to progress a narrative to go further.
Did you finish Meat Boy's? You know what I was getting at?
No, I have not. I'm just fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
speaking of Super Meat Boy Forever comes out this week. 2 days. They're doing like a re-release of Super Meat Boy.
I guess you'll be dabbing with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
But no, pissed next week.
Because I agree. Like you look at games to, like, you know, the original Donkey Kong. Like you knew at the end of that level there was an end boss, and each boss there had a different mechanic that you had to like learn or a pattern. And I almost feel like, again, I can't speak for, you know, like Sekiro, but I know, Matt, you tackled that game and then you kind of like, I needed a break. And I believe you said you restarted it.
Well, okay. I didn't need a break. I literally had like days after that game came out, I lost my job and I was unemployed and I was depressed and I was not in a good space to be playing a game like that mentally. Mm-hmm. So I stopped playing it. But then, earlier this year, I said, fuck it. That's something I need to cross off my list. And I literally started from the top and I had that game beaten in like 4 days.
I remember you texted me it.
Yeah.
Those
games, like Justin said, those games are looking you dead in the eyes, Cameron. Those boss fights are those are boss fights. That's like difficult fucking boss fights.
I remember, you know, when we first got into Neo 2 and we did that quick run together, and I was like, dude, like if I'm terrible at these games, and you were kind of like in the nicest way possible. You pretty much like, fuck you, man, you're on your own. I can't play this with you. You're too bad. And I was like, it's true. Like I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was like I would die, you have to restart. And I remember playing Neo 2 in the first like big boss thing that watches over the house that you have to go through. I was like, dude, I can't beat this. And it was like 2 minutes into the game, and you were pretty much like, bro, if you can't do this, like you're fucked. And I remember I broke my phone playing that game because I threw the controller so hard and hit my phone, and my phone broke, not the controller, the phone. But I did beat the game, and I was like, wow, that was actually a sense of accomplishment. Will I do it again? Fuck no. If somebody said though, like Rich across the street, he was like, I might get the Neo collection and get Neo 2. I was like, look, if you play Neo 2, I'll jump back in as my character and just rip through the game with you because you're going to want to shoot yourself. And Neo 2 is a really good game. And, you know, I haven't played Bloodborne yet. It's a game that I would like to play, but I know for a fact that my phone is too new for me to break it. So I'm going to wait until my phone is like a little older.
Or you can adult up and not break things when you're angry.
I didn't mean to.
Foreign concept, I know, but I mean,
I didn't
put the phone on the kitchen table.
Yeah,
good point.
Or just
I might hit a cat or a dog too.
I'll tell you this too. Once you have your PlayStation 5, you're not gonna want to break that controller because it's more expensive than a regular.
I know. It's like $70.
So knock that off. Just take a moment, breathe. If you have to stop playing the game, stop playing the game. But that's just what those games do. They're gonna piss you off. But the triumph when you finally kill that boss that's what you savor. So don't break things.
Is there a boss in a game that really stands out to you guys that you're like, damn, like when I did that, it was like, fuck yeah, that was one of the best feelings ever. Because me, it was when I beat the end boss in Tropical Freeze. I was taking a shit and I played it. And I was like, I beat it! Fuck yeah! And I was like, I guess I'm done here.
I'd probably go for Ruby Weapon in the original Final Fantasy VII, because this was before like strategy guides and stuff on the internet. I can't go and YouTube, and set everything up exactly how it was. I had to kind of figure out how to do that based on almost trial and error materia pairing with each other. Like, okay, if I, put this materia with this, can I do it, can I cast this attack, 12 fucking times in a row, and will that work? And it was a lot of trial and error. Going back now that I know how to do it, it's probably going to be super quick. But, 23 years ago, 22 years ago, YouTube wasn't around. You couldn't figure this shit out in the course of, 45 seconds.
You had to pay fucking $30 for a strategy guide.
You had to do that. Yeah. And even then, I don't even think that strategy guide, because I have the original Final Fantasy VII strategy guide. I don't even think that gives like detailed instructions. I think strategy guides gave tips, but you can't get like a full YouTube walkthrough right now, or like an IGN, okay, take 3 minutes and read exactly what to do. That stuff just wasn't around.
Yeah.
Justin?
Every single raid boss in Destiny this far has delivered, especially the first Vaulted Glass, the Aethon raid. That was something else. That was a whole unique experience. For me though, I'm gonna say Yzmat in Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah, I was hoping somebody was gonna mention that fucking giant asshole dragon.
Yeah, so that fucking boss fight took hours, and it's the only encounter in the entire game where you can fucking leave, go get more fucking items, and go back, and his health bar is still where you walked out of there, and just keep swinging away at it. And it was probably one of the most satisfying boss encounters I've ever had. And for me, that build up to that fight and all those hunts and everything that led up to it is why I often place Final Fantasy 12 at the top of my list of Final Fantasy games. 7 is great all around, but I thoroughly enjoyed all of the mechanics that 12 had introduced. The license board, the gambit system, the boss fights. The characters were hit or miss, but I enjoyed the gameplay aspect of that one more so than almost any other one.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, what about you?
I mean, because we just kind of brought it up, the Sekiro really does have some of the hardest boss fights I've ever had in games, because unlike the other From Software games, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, there's no cavalry coming over the hill in that game. You can't call a friend to help you. You have to do everything yourself. So if you can't do it, you can't do it. There's no one that's going to be able to jump in and double down with you. So there are numerous encounters in that game. There are some boss fights that are just ridiculous. And I mean, the actual true last boss fight of that game, it's a 4-phase fight, because you technically have to fight one person, kill them, and then you have to fight another person who has essentially 3 phases. And the combat style for each of those 3 phases is wildly different. And then it's the best, because when you kill this boss, you've defeated him, he drops to his knees, and you can actually savor the moment before you actually press the button to kill them. And it's I threw my hands up in the air when I finally did that earlier this year. It's crazy. Some of the boss fights really are they're fucking outrageously difficult in that game, but you do feel an unbelievable sense of triumph when you actually win.
Yeah, I remember seeing videos of, I think you even showed me some videos of the gorilla fight in that game.
Oh yeah, the ape. That motherfucker shows up 3 different times, because it's one of the most unsettling fights ever, because you're fighting this big fucking King Kong looking motherfucker, and when you finally kill him, you're like, yeah, I did it. You cut his fucking head off. You're like, I did it. And then you're waiting and you're going, why didn't it show the thing that it said, enemy defeated, what's going on? And then all of a sudden the body gets up, it picks up its head, and it just fights you, holding its fucking head in its hands. And you go, what the fuck? And then you kill it again. And then you're like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I really did it that time. But you didn't, because he comes back again. And then you have to fight him with a fucking friend of his. It's the most ridiculous shit ever. You're fucking fighting a monkey holding its head, holding a fucking sword.
It's like the fucking chicken from
ever.
Family Guy. It just keeps on coming back.
Dude, it just doesn't want to die. And then when you finally actually kill it, you're like, yeah, you motherfucker. You're dead. Now you're really dead. Like you're super dead. Holy fuck.
Does it come back?
Oh no, it's genuinely like it's unsettling that fight because like it's got one power where it like holds up its head and it shrieks and it like sends out the shockwave and it inflicts like the status effect of terror upon you. And if the terror bar fills up, you just automatically die. Like you get too scared and you shit your pants and die.
How the fuck do you avoid it?
You gotta fucking know when he's gonna do his shriek and you back the fuck up out of the range of the area of effect and then you gotta jump in. But I mean that also at the early part of that fight before he you cut his head off, he's also flinging shit at you. So that's one of his powers. Yeah, that game is fucking crazy. Look up any boss fight in that game and you're gonna go, what is this nightmare shit?
Yeah, I mean it sucks. Like some of those games that obviously I understand that they're developing those games and making those games for a specific type of player and specific market. And I understand like easy mode would have been a cop out. And I think it was the Demon Souls remake that they were talking about adding an easy mode into it where it was not. And they're like, you know what? It's just not what we're trying to do. Like you either have to play the game as it is or don't fucking play it. But
easy mode in those games is when you summon people to help you. When you summon other players to help you, that's what I would consider easy mode because granted the difficulty scales to add to each player that's joining in, but when you have multiple people fighting one thing, it certainly makes it easier. But adding an easy mode is just you're playing the wrong game. Then easy mode.
Is Demon Souls, when you summon somebody, is it an actual person or is it just like an NPC, like a fake?
Well, you can summon. There are specific NPCs that you meet that they can assist in those games, but they have the ability to summon literal people playing the game who have offered their assistance.
So it's just like Neo.
Yeah, you can literally summon. I mean, you can summon fucking 2 or 3 people to come help you, and then you just gang bang a boss, and that's it. But that's easy mode, I would say, for those games. Otherwise, that's why Sekiro is as hard as it is because you can't do that. It's just you and the enemies. That's it. You just have to fucking get good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like I said, hopefully, obviously, hopefully, they don't change anything when it comes to that. Like, obviously, that's FromSoft, right? From Software. Yeah. Obviously, they have their own niche, and obviously, boss games are their type of thing. I was a little disappointed that you didn't like Cuphead. I was going to play it, but after you were kind of like, yeah, don't even fuck with it.
Cameron, you'll break things, dude.
Yeah.
Shit is.
I don't mind. Play that game. I don't mind a challenge, but it's like Justin said. I like jumping and shooting, and that just didn't do it for me. There's just some very visually, it's beautiful. It's like mind blowing that they were able to create a game like this with all this hand drawn, unbelievably artistic style. But it just didn't do it for me. And if I didn't like it, Cameron, you wouldn't even break your controller. You would probably snap your fucking PlayStation 4 in half. You pick it up and you like drop it over your knee and destroy it.
I guess say no more about that. The only other question I have is, Justin, do you ever play the Impossible Lair? I know we talked about it.
I played it like that day and then I never got back into it. No.
Wasn't for you?
No, something else happened, and then I forgot I had it, and then I was going through my games library yesterday, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right, that's there. I need to get back into that. But then I had a raid to do last night, and then...
had a raid to do.
Yeah.
No big deal. No big deal. But whatever. But that's all we got for you today. That was a good run. Obviously, we had to I'm going to have to do some edit work in the beginning there because...
I had some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Massive amount of technical difficulties.
Sorry.
Obviously, next time we're here, it'll be after the holidays. So
yay.
Hopefully we can all get a gift that just keeps on giving.
That's right.
Hopefully the Christmas fairy is good to everybody.
Yeah. And hopefully we can get out of this, this pandemic sooner than later. Cause I think it's, it's going to be a very weird holiday not spending it with the amount of people I normally spend it with. Normally there's like 30 of us together and now there's like 8. And I'm like, all right, it's not really even the holidays for me anymore. This year just kind of isn't a year. I'm just going to erase it from existence. But at least we'll go down in the history books, because I'm sure this will be put in the history books at some point where our kids are like, hey, you survived the COVID? Well, yeah, I'm still here, dumbass. Like, yeah, yes, I survived it.
Wow. Gavin talking to his future child like they're an asshole. That's very on brand right now. Very
what? Me
talking shit to kids.
Hey,
very on brand.
Don't go back to my Call of Duty World of Warfare, whatever the first one was game. Those kids are probably like seeing a therapist from the shit that I said to them on that game.
Wow.
But once again, this is Why Am I Nerd presents Alpha Beta Gold, or you can follow us on Instagram, Why Am I Nerd Official, Facebook.com/Why Am I Nerd, and listen to new episodes every Monday on YouTube and your favorite podcast service. Once again, that does it for us today. Happy holidays, everybody. I'm Cameron James, Justin Vitale, Jason Porter, and Just Matt. Until next time, we're out.
Peace.